Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the Supreme Court bans colleges from considering race in admissions.
A North Texas fire scorched 511 acres in Palo Pinto County near Fort Worth.
Plus, a longtime broadcast journalist joined 25 News Now to celebrate the 1973 Stroman High School class reunion.
And here is proof positive that the heat is going to be giving us a break. You notice that we are getting a break? It's all moving into the southern Mississippi Valley. We'll be talking about that and 4th of July weather coming up in a moment.
And the athlete of the week is a pitcher for the Victoria Generals. We hear from him in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A couple in Beeville found dead in their home Wednesday. Authorities told the Beeville Bee-Picayune that they were investigating it as a homicide. KIII reports police identified the victims as 67-year-old Maria Vasquez and 80-year-old Jose Vasquez. Heat may have been a factor. Authorities estimate the temperature inside the home was at least 120 degrees. A fire that started Wednesday afternoon 40% contained after multiple crews battled overnight and into Thursday morning. The fire scorched an estimated 511 acres in Palo Pinto County. That's near Weatherford, near Fort Worth. Little to no rain and triple-digit temperatures have combined to increase the fire risk, and officials there remain on high alert as wildfire activity is expected to increase.
Amid this ongoing heat wave, many cities are not only dealing with the triple-digit temperatures, but also another effect that comes with it. That's water main breaks. This week in Fort Worth, some residents had to go without water as city crews rushed to repair multiple breaks on the city's south side. It took 6 hours to get water restored after a cast iron main broke. It's a problem the city says is on the rise and likely to increase as the summer heats up. So far this year, the city's repaired 201 water main breaks. And, you know, 4th of July is coming, so what can we expect to see, Mac?
Well, a little bit of a break. That's the good news I have for you today. Remember, we had all the heat advisories over Texas. Well, for tomorrow, they're moving out over the mid-Mississippi Valley and all the way down to Louisiana. What's happening is the big heat bubble that was on us is rolling eastward, and as a result, we're going to get a bit of a break. Now, it's not going to be cold. It'll be in the regular low 90-degree temperatures. And then as we get into 4th of July, we may have a few little garden variety showers. We'll be talking more about that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Today, in another historic ruling, the Supreme Court ruled that colleges can no longer take race into consideration for admissions. This decision overturns long-standing precedent that has benefited Black and Latino students in higher education.
Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the opinion for the conservative majority, saying the admissions programs for affirmative action violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment.
The Supreme Court stirring up protests with its decision gutting affirmative action, saying colleges and universities can no longer rely on race in the admissions process. But prospective students are still allowed to talk about how their race has shaped their experiences in their applications. The 6-3 opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts will now prohibit students from checking a box indicating their race, specifically saying the practice at Harvard and University of North Carolina cannot be reconciled with the guarantees of the Equal Protection Clause. The majority not explicitly saying they are overruling more than 4 decades of precedent that allowed affirmative action, but the 3 liberal justices writing, "Today this court stands in the way and rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress."
I'm really most worried about, the youth and the students younger than us in high school and middle school and elementary school who might not get the same opportunity that I did.
The 2 cases were brought by the group Students for Fair Admissions, led by activist Edward Bloom, who has fought for nearly a decade to eradicate affirmative action.
Classifying students by race and ethnicity, treating them differently because of their race and ethnicity, it's unfair.
At the forefront of the Harvard fight, Asian students who argued they were disadvantaged because Harvard prioritized other minorities and used a personal rating score that did not rank them favorably.
Hello.
The issue is deeply personal to Justice Sonia Sotomayor as the first woman of color on the Supreme Court. She issued a fiery dissent accusing the majority of employing an unjustified exercise of power that will only serve to highlight the court's own impotence in the face of an America whose cries for equality resound. Justice Sotomayor has been outspoken in the past, saying that using other methods to ensure diversity won't work.
It's not that I don't believe it works. I don't think the statistics show it works.
In fact, when California banned affirmative action in 1996, UC Berkeley said Black and Hispanic representation on their campus dropped by 50%. But Justice Clarence Thomas, one of 2 Black justices on the High Court, spoke in personal terms too, saying he believes the Constitution is colorblind. While I am painfully aware of the social and economic ravages which have befallen my race and all who suffer discrimination, I hold out enduring hope that this country will live up to its principles, that all men are created equal, are equal citizens, and must be treated equally before the law. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman on the court, pushed back in a separate dissent, bashing the majority opinion as exuding a let-them-eat-cake obliviousness, and said, deeming race irrelevant in law does not make it so in life.
The Supreme Court, however, ruled the U.S. military academics can continue to take race into consideration as a factor in admissions, essentially exempting those schools from this Supreme Court ruling.
The Texas Tribune reports the decision will largely impact the University of Texas at Austin, the only public university in the state that considered race in undergraduate admissions, and private universities such as Rice and SMU. UT Austin admits 75% of its class through the Top 10% plan. The Texas legislature created the plan that automatically admits Texas high school students who graduate in the top 10% of their class to the state's public universities.
And this brings us to your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you think we still need affirmative action? Yes or no? We take a look at these results and 42% say yes, 58% stand at no. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We will have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
A noted Texas school district voted to put new policies in place that impact transgender students. Keller ISD's new policies require students to use restrooms and locker rooms based on the biological sex on their birth certificate, and district employees are not required to use pronouns that are inconsistent with a person's gender on their birth certificate. Before the vote, the board heard from many people both for and against the policies.
Our children have been punished at school for not calling somebody by their pronouns, which I think is crazy. I mean, we were taught English grammar. This is not something you don't just get to create your own adjectives. You don't get to create your own pronouns.
We know they did it in June for a reason. It's Pride Month. Like I said, there are already policies and procedures in place that protected students and teachers.
These new policies are effective immediately. Houston rapper Travis Scott avoided criminal charges stemming from his Astroworld festival. A grand jury in Houston was considering criminal charges against Scott for his alleged involvement in the 2021 crowd crush at his festival. The jury ultimately decided to decline to indict the rapper despite the crowd rush that left 10 people dead, including a 9-year-old boy and thousands more hurt. Medical examiners said they all died from compression asphyxia. Scott said in a video he could not have imagined the, quote, severity of the situation at the festival.
This weekend, the Stroman class of 1973 celebrating its 50th class reunion, and this week we're introducing you to some of the graduates who went on to do great things. Dan Cuellar was a senior class officer for the Stroman graduating class of 1973. He worked in radio and TV news for 48 years, working in Houston, San Antonio, and Philadelphia, and he was inducted into the Broadcast Television Hall of Fame. He says it's good to be home.
You know, it's with an incredible sense of pride that I'm back in my hometown of Victoria after starting in TV here so many years ago, back in the 70s, and then coming back for this high school reunion, 50 years, and getting back with people I haven't seen in so many years. This is going to be so exciting. It's going to be so fun to be back in Victoria for this incredible event, and I'm looking forward to seeing my colleagues, Stroman High School Raiders, class of 1973. And I also want to pay special tribute to those faculty and students who, because of illness or because they passed already before us, will not be able to be with us. And I just want to say that they will always be a part of the 1973 Raider family, and we will never forget them.
All right, and the reunion festivities will kick off on Friday at the Dutch Lane Pool and Pub, located at 5007 East Juan Lynn. On Saturday, the celebration continues at Club Westerner at 1005 Constitution. Tickets for classmates are $50. Guests can join the fun for $20. For more information, reach out to Gerald Shellhab at pdv@glenroselaw.com or call 361-571-4678.
In order to complete the construction of an oil export terminal in the Matagorda Bay, the Army Corps of Engineers would be required to dredge a deeper and wider 22-mile channel. Comments regarding public opinion on this dredging are due July 3rd and can be sent by mail or by email to the address right there on your screen.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. And you can see us on YouTube at Crossroads Today. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. A Florida jury found the Parkland School Resource Officer not guilty related to his actions during the 2018 mass shooting there.
Also ahead, 51 middle schoolers were stuck at Bush Intercontinental Airport yesterday. We have the story details up ahead. School resource officer not guilty on all counts related to his actions during the 2018 mass shooting. Peterson had been charged with 11 counts, including felony child neglect and culpable neglect. Peterson stayed outside the Stoneman Douglas High School as a gunman killed 17 people, including 14 students. Prosecutors said he ignored his training, but defense attorneys said Peterson couldn't tell where the shots were coming from.
AAA Texas expects the number of Texans traveling by car and in the air on the 4th of July weekend to be the highest on record. KVUE reports the data suggests nearly 4 million Texans will travel 50 miles or more this weekend. AAA said the worst times to hit the road will be Thursday during the evening rush and most of the day Friday. AAA says about 85% of the people traveling this weekend will be driving. Sunday and Monday expected to be light travel days with the holiday on Tuesday. 51 travelers that included middle schoolers were stuck at Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston Tuesday.
After their flight got canceled Tuesday, a worker who they call their airport guardian angel went out of her way to make sure they were comfortable Wednesday.
in peak flying season.
Only that one day the kids will look back on this and laugh.
Delays can become a nuisance, especially if you're traveling with a group of 50 kids.
They're middle school students who took Spanish and they got to go on this trip for fun.
Leaving Panama only to be delayed for hours in Houston, sleeping on the cold airport floor.
It puts a tear in your eye to have someone who cares so much who didn't need to.
But it hasn't been a complete disaster for the group of Portland students.
My first reaction is to get them something to eat, to get them something to drink, because I know they're tired, they're away from home, from their family and friends.
Students say Bridget is the airport guardian angel. For Bridget, who works at the airport, she says she's touched by the students' gratefulness as she helped keep them going during the delay.
These are kids, and I was just so touched by it.
But prayers have been answered. The students are heading home.
We don't have a hotel tonight, and we're going to Portland.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission showed the dangers of fireworks Thursday. The annual display included exploding mannequins and watermelons to simulate real-life scenarios. In 2021, the commission reports 9 fireworks-related deaths. 6 of the deaths were due to firework misuse. Authorities say fireworks were involved with an estimated 11,500 injuries treated in U.S. hospitals during 2021. Be careful.
Yeah, it looks funny until it's your hand, you know. Well, folks, of course, we're heading off into the long holiday weekend. Yeah, it's warm, but we're getting a break. It won't be as warm early next week. Right now, we're at 93. Our high temperature today got up to a toasty 96. But the temperature is going to be coming down a few degrees, and we'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Afternoon, everyone. Lots of people already thinking about where are we going, when are we taking off, because it is the long holiday weekend. And of course, we've got the hot weather. Now, there is a little bit of a break as far as Texas is concerned for the weekend, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Now, we got up to that 96. Same thing down in Port Lavaca, 92 down in Rockport, and we've got a warm 99 in San Antonio. And you know what? They're happy. That's cooler than they've been for the past couple of days. You'll notice that out in West Texas, because it's drier there, the air is drier. It's kind of like desert air. It gets really hot in the daytime, but at night, the air atmosphere releases a lot of that heat, so it gets cool at night. It's for us that are humid that we don't lose a lot of that heat overnight. There you see the forecast highs for tomorrow, still on the warm side, but here's the real sign right here. Right here. Heat advisories for tomorrow? No. How about that? So Victoria, Goliad, Refugio are not going to be hot and humid enough to call it a heat advisory. So there's a little bit of a break there for us, and that's just the beginning of it, folks. The big bubble of hot air that was over us, what I call the Dome of Doom, is finally moving. The center of it will be over the lower Mississippi Valley. I hope the folks in Louisiana and Mississippi have been watching the news, because they're going to be under the oppressive heat that we were the last 3 weeks, and it's going to be happening there for at least a week until things start moving around in terms of the atmosphere. All of the Northeast and the Midwest continue with smoky skies because of the fires way up north. So we take a look at the Atlantic is going to be a little quiet for about a week. We got a blow of some Saharan dust in there, so it's kind of dry right now. But on the other side in the Pacific, it's gotten very busy. And I wanted to show you this. This is Beatrice right about here, and you can see that it's going to go right along the Mexican coast. So Acapulco is going to get some probably hurricane force winds, as will Colima and all the way up. So this is one of those deals where it's just 100 miles this way and it affects the entire west coast of Mexico. Of course, they're looking for the relief from the clouds, with some clouds and some rain as well, but you know, they don't need the storm force winds. So for tomorrow's day planner, looking for an 81 as a low in Port Lavaca, getting up to a high of 93. And then for those 93, it sounds delightful, doesn't it? 77, the overnight low in Cuero, getting up to 96. And so for us, our temperatures will slowly come down. Tomorrow, 96, 97. You'll see clouds beginning to build up for us over the weekend, but it's on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday. We have a slight chance of a little afternoon shower popping up. Now, I know that Tuesday is 4th of July, and there's parades and there's fireworks at night, but these are garden variety showers. They pop up in the heat and they fall apart. If you catch one, consider yourself lucky. You'll be the first one in about a month to catch a rain shower. So that is your 7-day forecast. How about that? We'll get down to 92 by next Wednesday. We want you to remember that we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, and we can send you all the weather updates you need. That is it from the weather front. Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Mac. And now let's go to Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. A New York Yankees pitcher achieved a feat only 23 other pitchers have in the history of the MLB. That's coming up after the break. At a crossroads, the Victoria Generals are in second place in the Texas Collegiate League, and a pitcher on the team was on fire from the bump, totaling 10 strikeouts. But that's not all. Right-handed pitcher Jack Hagan took the mound Tuesday night against the Seguin River Monsters with the plan of only going 6 or 7 innings. Little did he know he was going to pitch the entire game. Generals head coach Michael Oro said the plan was not for him to go the distance, but knew he wanted to test the waters with how far Hagan could go, and that opportunity arose on Tuesday.
Jack Hagan threw a great game tonight. We talked about his last start, trying to get into that uncharted territory and that pitch count being in the 80s and 90s where he hasn't been before, and getting him used to that situation. And a week later it shows its face, and he succeeded.
The UT Arlington ball player came down to Victoria to try to work on his skills during his off time. With the season halfway in the books, the McKinney native plans on staying in the Crossroads for the rest of the season.
The field's great. You know, it's one of the nicest fields in our league here, and you know, having the guys around. These guys are awesome. You know, they're fun to hang around. Our bus rides are fun, even though they're long. But Victoria has been a great city for me, and I'm thankful that I get to come back for another month and see what we can do.
Although the 6'3", 200-pound junior had a great game, he knows he cannot do it alone. Having a good defense behind him like he has keeps his confidence high and his pitch count low.
You know, going out there tonight, you know, I was like, you know, I'm going to go 6-7 for my guys tonight, give our best, you know, give the best chance to win. And, you know, I went all 9. That's pretty good. I haven't done that in a long time, but I couldn't have done it without my catcher behind the plate. You know, when you're pitching on the mound and you know your defense is right behind you, not struggling, and they're making the plays, you know, it gives you confidence. You know, I can give up a ground ball, I can give up a fly ball, and they're going to make the plays.
After the game, the Generals improved to 13-10 on the season, in part to number 23. The first time General threw a shutout, only giving up 2 hits and 1 walk. The team totaled 12 insurance runs to coast to a 12-0 victory over Seguin. Hagan's contributions are the reasons why he is the Crossroads Athlete of the Week. Now, another fantastic pitcher had an outing, and this one was in the MLB. New York Yankees' Domingo Germán pitched his way into the record books Wednesday night, tossing Major League Baseball's first perfect game in nearly 11 years. It was the 24th perfect game in the MLB's history, and the first since Seattle Mariners pitcher Felix Hernandez threw one against the Tampa Bay Rays back in 2012. The Dominican-born right-hander, who is the first pitcher from his nation to throw a perfect game, cited the death of a relative a few days ago as inspiration for his historic performance. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. We're back in a moment. A 102-year-old man finally gets his military medals from World War II.
Tonight, a Kentucky veteran received his military medals that were long overdue. 100-year-old Edwin Smith, a veteran of World War II, received 4 medals on Wednesday from Kentucky Congressman Brett Guthrie. Smith served in the Air Force, it was called the Army Air Corps back then, during World War II and survived a deadly plane crash during training. He received a Victory Medal symbolizing the win for America, as well as 3 other service medals. And that young man thanked the entire community and the congressman for giving him those medals and for all the support that they've given to him over the years. And for him, at a 100-year-old, that's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
That is fantastic.
Congratulations to him. Can you imagine finding medals after all these years?
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, to be able to stand there and accept, well,
Yeah.
congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Folks, it's 4th of July weekend for a lot of people. Some people are already leaving tonight. I know.
Yes.
Tomorrow, everybody's like on their way. And I know you're going to be traveling, and it's still going to be hot, but it's not going to be as hot. In fact, we're going back to what we call normal July weather, which is still on the warm side. I'm picking up a shower or 2 on the afternoon hours of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Tuesday, 4th of July, don't worry about it. And remember, at 9 o'clock or 9:30, there's going to be free fireworks down at the community center. So if you don't want to bother with lighting matches and all that stuff, that's a good place to be. Because let the professionals do it.
That's right.
That's right.
And all the fun starts really tomorrow in Shiner. Half Moon Holidays coming up Friday and Saturday.
That's the start.
Have fun, be safe, and
stay cool.
Yes.
Most
Thanks
importantly,
for
that's
joining us.
right. All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.